Hi everyone, welcome to the session. So today we are going to see a support ticket where business has requested whenever they release the purchase order, they need to get a notification or they need to have a report where they can see how much level of approval has been done. So there is no SAP standard functionality to do that. So we suggested the client to go with the custom development so that based on the custom development, we can show this functionality in the system. So for that, we started doing the functional specification document. Functional specification document. What is functional specification document? Functional specification document is nothing but you will give the data to the ABAPO. He will build a new report based on the requirement of the client. He will understand what is the business requirement. Then based on that, he is going to build the report. As a functional consultant, what is our role in the functional specification is we need to provide from where the data should get pulled to make that report. So ABAPA does not know which data to have in the report and from where to take the data. So as a functional consultant, we will be providing the data to the ABAPA. Okay. And as you all know, computer does not know any language. It has only the binary language, which is 0 and 1. In the same way, SAP also does not know any language. It has only one language, which is table and fields. So whatever data you are going to create in the system, those are going to save in the table and fields. So the concept of table and fields. For example, if you take table, what is table? So for example, if you take material, in material, you have the basic data. What is the basic data? Basic data contains material number, base unit of measure, description. All those are the fields. So all are included in a single table. Now, for example, you have a table called Mara. So in this table, you will be able to see all the fields like description, base unit of measure, material group. So like this, you will have different fields selected in the single table. So we are going to search the table and we are going to give the data from which table does the data want to be picked to create the function specification. So today we are going to see a topic of report of release approvers. What is the requirement here? The requirement here is whenever the PO is released. Now, for example, if you take what is released, you will have release procedure. This procedure, you will be creating the characteristics, you will be creating the class, release indicator, release group, release strategies. Based on that, you will have the approvers. The approvers. So approvers will be assigned based on the amount, the total value of the PO. If it is 0 to 100, level 1 approval will approve. If it is from 1 to 1 to 1000, two levels of approval will come into picture, level 1 and level 2. So the requirement here is they need to pull a report of how many approvers have been approved the PO. And they can, based on this report, they can also analyze did the approver approve the PO on time or not. Okay, so to fulfill this requirement, we have to write a functional specification document. So functional specification document will contain what is the requirement, actual requirement of the business. Then based on the requirement, we are going to provide the tables and fields from where the data needs to be picked to create that report. In report, whenever you see a report in SAP, you will have two sections. One is selection field and other one is the list fields. Okay, the selection fields, what is the difference between selection fields and list fields? If you see the selection field, in selection field, you can have the filter. For example, you have a plant, you have company code, so you can filter based on your plant and company code there. And based on that filter in the selection field, the data will get reflected in the list field. So whenever you are developing a report in SAP, you need to consider these two sections to be configured. So now we are focusing on the report of release approvers. So we are going to create the report. So you need to consider selection field as well as a list field. Okay. So first thing, for example, think that business want the selection field like company code, like plant, okay, and number of approvers, and they want the price, total price of the PO. So that you are going to create these in the selection field. Based on this, you are going to give the table and fields to the ABAP, so that he will build the selection field first. Then you need to provide the list fields, so that in list fields, you will have a report like this. The report will get generated like this. So this is your header, and below header, you will have all the details. So what needs to be entered in the header? Which all data you need to pick in the header? That also you only needs to confirm to the ABAP. Okay, so now let's open the functional spec and see what is the exact requirement, and we'll see how we can write the functional specification for that. As we have already written the functional spec, I'll open the functional spec and explain how it works. Okay. So this is the functional specification. Let me zoom in. Okay, this is the functional specification document. We call it as an FS document. So here you have what is the requirement number or the change request number. The CR number is nothing but the change request number. Each and every company will have their own coding for the CR, that is change request. As we are an MM consultant, our change request will start from MM. In some companies, they call it as a procurement team. So they change request will start from PROC. Okay, so you can say it as a change request PROC 1467. This is your change request number. So here you will know what is the actual requirement of the client. So here, what is the requirement? To develop a report that will give details about SAP document release information for PO. Right? So it is asking, what is the requirement? Here they want to see the details in a report format. Who has the release the POs? The complete release information they need to see in the PO level. Okay, so this is the version. Version is nothing but you will have the first time you will write the first document that will go for the review. If they require any changes, then you will come and change back the first document. For that, you are going to change the version number again. So it is next one is the requested by. Here you mention who has requested this request in the client side and at what date it has been requested. And here you are going to mention your name as a consultant who is going to write this FS document. And if you write an FS document, you need an ABAPer who needs to implement or build this report in the system. So we call him as a technical consultant. Without functional consultant and technical consultant, you cannot build the FS document. That is functional specification document. So you need a functional consultant as well as you need a technical consultant. So now let's come to the business overview. What is the business overview? What is the actual requirement? Here there was just a description of the requirement. Here you will find what is the actual requirement. Requirement received from business to develop a report that will help end users to find with whom a particular document like PO is pending for release. So that if they pull the report and see, they can put a filter and check which POs are released, which POs are not released, and if it is not released, with which approval it is pending from, so that they are going to follow up with them for the release the POs. Okay, so this will give a better clarity about the real-time scenario, who is approving the POs on time and who is not approving the POs on based on the deadline. So to build this report, you need to write an FS logic first, functional logic. We call it as a functional logic. So scroll down. This is the functional logic. As I said, you will have two screens. One is input and one is output. In our scenario, what we consider it as a selection field and list field. Selection field is nothing but an input screen. List field is considered as an output field. So you see here, in the input screen, whenever they're inputting the material, let me show one report, for example, if it is ME2N. So this is an ME2N report. ME2N. Okay. This is an ME2N report. If you see here, this is the input screen. For example, if I put the filter here, I'll put a filter saying that I want to see only the POs which are created under this plant. If I execute, I'll be able to see only the POs which are created in this single plant. This is a filter which you can add in the input screen. So first you need to build the input screen. To build the input screen, you need to write a logic for that. So what is the requirement? This come from the business. They need PO number as an input. Based on PO number, they can check which all are approved, which are not approved. They can see by the PO creation date. They can put a filter that from this period to this period, how many POs are created and which are approved and which are not approved. And they are going to make a plant and they're going for the purchase for group. So if you want to pull the PO number, you have a table called EKKO. To open table in SAP, we use the transaction code SE16N. In SE16N, put the table. This is the table EKKO, which is PO header table. I put this, execute. This is a purchase document head. Here, under this table, I have different fields. You see here, there are 195 fields. So what is the requirement? I want the PO number. So to pull the PO number, the field name is EBELN. So you will mention this field in your screen. Now open this first. You are saying open this table and pick this data. For example, without giving any data, if I select 10, execute. See here, purchase document. Based on this, this number will get picked. The PO number will get picked automatically. And then the next criteria is the PO creation date. What's PO creation date? Using the same table, you will use this field AEDAT. Now think that you want the PO creation date. You can directly search here and enter, or you can go here and search by creation. There is no there is another name for the creation. So here, created on. You can click on this, just type create and you will get created on, created by. If they want to add who is created this PO, if they want to add this also, they can add in the report. So I'll take this field and put it here, right? And they want the plant. For plant, I'm using the same. Now, one question here in the header tab, whenever you're creating a PO, let me open some PO, 23N, you have a header and you have item. So for a header, you have one particular table. For item, you have one particular table. Now, we picked the PO number. PO number comes under header. So we took it from there. And what we need created by creation date. So creation date is nothing but the document date. Even this is under header. Now, what is the next requirement? Next requirement is the plant. So, are we entering plant in the header level? Anywhere in the header level? No. We are not entering the data of plant in the header level. We are going to enter in the item level. So we cannot use the table of EKKO, which is the header table. We need to go for the table called EKPO. So now let me go to AC16 and change the EKPO table. Now you have this item purchase document item table. In item also you have nearly 412 fields. So what is the field you require? You require the plant. So search for the plant. Click enter. This is the plant field. So take this plant field and put it here. Okay, and take the purchase. You want the purchase group. For purchase group also. Now let's go to PO bank. Now we are entering the purchase group in the header. So we will be using EKKO table again. Whenever you say header level, you need to use EKKO. Whenever it comes under item detail, then you need to use EKPO. Okay. So I'm taking this. This is the field for purchase group, and you want the document type. Document type also will come under header. So go to the header table, check what is the document type. Okay. And here you have this range. What is this range? Now let me go back to some report. For example, I'll take some report. ME2. Range is nothing but the filter. For example, if I click range here, I can have select range, exclude the range. I can select from which range to which range I want to see the data. So if you want this functionality, you need to mention this column saying that range and from 1 to. Okay, this is the input screen first. Therefore, as input screen is designed, you are mentioning that upon execution system will first check the table EKKO, this one, and find out release strategy triggered. Here, whenever you create a PO, where the release strategy will come? Release strategy will come in the header or the PO. If it is for PR, then it will come in header as well as in item. So in PO, it is coming under header. So we'll check the header table EKKO. So if I go to SA16N and put EKKO, and I find which all are related to release. So just I put find REL. So these are the fields which are related to release. So what I need? First I need to check if the PO is released or not. Okay, if the PO is released, then the release indicator will be set. Okay, so what I'm saying here, in EKKO table, check FRGSX, which is release group. Release group is nothing but release group is nothing but it is the creation of the release strategies. So first check the release group and this table FRGGR. FRGGR is nothing but release group, and you are checking FRGSX, that is release strategy. If those both are included in the PO, for example, let me take this. Now think that you have certain POs, but for certain POs you don't have release. For some POs you have the release. In that case, if you execute the complete EKKO table, all the data will come and fall. Now you want the release group. Whenever the release group exists in the PO, only that you require. So you put the release group here, and I'll unselect everything. And I'll just select purchase order and release group. If I execute, I'll get some values which are already created for the group. Okay, now let me take a 16N. Here we are just filtering which PO has an approval, which PO does not have an approval. For that, we are writing this line. Okay, then system needs to check who are the releases, who are the approvers. For that, we are going to use the table T16FS. So we use this table, who is the release codes. You see here, this is a release table, release strategy table. Here, if you put a release group and release strategy, it will show you who are the release codes. For example, if we take some release strategy from here, which is already created, we take some group. Okay, let me take B8, and let it become strategy. So okay, I have it here. Okay, I'll cancel this. If I have the release group, I'll execute this. See here, under this group, there are 4 approvers. So there are levels of approver who needs to approve post whom. So here you have the description of the approver. At what level does the approver come into picture? So I need these details. I'll take it from this table. Okay. Then the system will check the status of the release. Status of the release will check from this field. This field will give you the PO is released or not. That is an indicator. First level is released, second level is released, third level is released. You can see that is the indicator. If it is fully approved, then I don't want to take the PO. If it is not fully approved, then I need to take the PO. You have 2 scenarios. You can pull the report based on completely approved. You can pull the report which are not completely approved. You can pull the data based on that also. Okay. And post this, everything is done. Now you want, this is the output screen. This is how it looks. So in output screen, you want the PO number. So from where you are getting the PO number? You are getting it from the EKKO table, that is from EBELN field. Okay. You want the release codes. From where you are getting the release codes? You are getting it from this table. How you are linking this table with this table? You have the release group here. For example, if we put EKKO, you have the release group and release strategy here. Even in EKKO, you have the release group and release strategy. So you are fetching the data from there and transferring the data to here. Then based on this, the release codes is getting fetched. Okay. Now you want the release codes. You are getting the release codes by this table. Okay. Now you need who has released the purchase order, in which level. In this table, you will get how many levels are there in the approvers. So you will have level 1, level 2, level 3, but you want their names. Okay. If you want their names, in release strategy, you are not putting the dates anywhere in the while creating release strategy, but you can pull the name by seeing the ID, the workflow ID. So to update the name of the releaser, system should click the table. We take this table, CDHDR. Let me check how it is fitting. CDHDR. Here, I'll put the transaction codes of this. See here, object class and object PO number. I'll put the PO number here. For example, I'll put the PO number and execute. So you see here, this shows who has approved the POs. This is the document type. This is created by him. Okay. So from here, you are going to pull the data of this object. So from object value, you are going to link that to the PO number. Based on that, the name is getting picked from here. This is the name. From here, it is getting picked. So that name will get updated here. For each and every level, you are going to do this. Okay. By using the tables and fields, you are getting the input screen and you are getting the output screen also. Now, these are the normal selection parameter, how you are going to select. This is selection parameter, nothing but the input screen. And you have output report. Output report is nothing but this output which you are getting here. And frequency. You have frequency here. On certain time, for one day, how many times you are going to export this report. That you can give the frequency here. And you have the T code for this report. What is the T code you are going to create or FFR is going to create? And what is the program name? Everything will be updated here in the FS document. Post this FS document is completed, he is going to write a program for that using this FS document, and he is going to create a T code for that to execute the report. Okay. So today we have covered the FS document based on the release approvers for the POs. Okay. Thank you.